It's the Canadian Futures Trader here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the video.
Gotta get more followers.
Today's video, everyone, I'm going to walk you through in elaborate detail the withdrawal process being paid out by Apex Trader Funding. It's one of the questions I get asked most often about. They have a full about it, but I think even still people get a little bit confused just in the details, so that's what I want to walk through. I'll put timestamps down below as well, and before we jump into it, I'll mention if you are thinking about signing up for Apex, I have a discount code for you. It is CAN50. You get 50% off any account, up to 20 accounts. Now, right now, it's mid-March as I'm recording this, 2022. This coupon expires at the end of March. I don't know if they're going to renew it or not. They did at the end of the year. I will find out April 1st, the same as everybody else. Best way to know what the current best promo is to come to my website. I list them all under my exclusive deals / deals and promos page. And just a few weeks ago, I put a box here. So if you want to email, so if you don't want to have to come and check this page all the time. If you subscribe, I send out an email whenever there's a new blockbuster deal on any of the programs. And I don't send anything else. And of course, like I said, I will put up a YouTube video about this one if they have a new promo code. I'm fingers crossed. I hope they do. I think it's a great program. I just did a 6 months review of Apex Trader Funding video that I'm going to be putting up. It'll probably be up actually before this video. So if you want to learn more about Apex, go watch that video. I'm definitely a fanboy of Apex. They're basically my top rated and ranked trader valuation company. When people ask me, who should they go with if they have to choose just kind of blindly, Apex is who I send them to. Guys, let's get to the withdrawal process. So on the Apex Trader Funding website, if you go to FAQs, you will be brought to this page where you can search for answers to all of your questions related to Apex. But we're going to focus on how payouts work today. So they have a couple videos, obviously not going to force you to watch those. I think they would answer a lot of your questions as well. But let's go through this, and I'm speaking as someone, just in case you're not familiar with me, I was funded by Apex back in October 2021. I am still with them as of March 2022, planning on staying with them long term. Fantastic company, really building kind of a partnership with their traders, and I've been fairly successful with them, and I've received payouts every single month. So let's get to it. Speaking of payments every single month, payouts are paid once a month on the last business day of the month. I'm going to add a little bit more color to these different things, just as someone who has been paid by them. So they send out their payments on the last day of the month. Depending on what method you choose, you might receive your money that day, or it might be a day or two later. So a good example is if you choose PayPal, you're probably going to receive your money that day. The payment goes out, you receive it in PayPal immediately. If you're in the United States though, or you have a US bank account like I do, and you choose ACH, which is Automated Clearinghouse, that can take a day or two to show up in your bank account. It has nothing to do with Apex, that's just the banking system, and it takes that long to process it. So payments are sent on the last day of the month. You might receive it immediately and or a day or two later like I do. So in terms of profit share, so you're funded, you're making money. The first 10,000 that you make is 100% yours. So there's no profit split on that. You can withdraw that entire amount. After that, it's 90-20. So you keep 90% of everything you earn, they keep 10%. Kind of the trade-off. That's how the world of prop trading works in futures trading and any type of trading in the proprietary world. They're providing you capital to trade with. In doing so, they keep a small percentage of your profits and you retain the bulk of them. So as far as payout methods, they pay out via PayPal, wire transfer, mail check. They'll also do ACH. It's not really written here, but ACH is an option. That's the automated clearinghouse thing. They mention here, if you request PayPal, just make sure your PayPal account is fully verified. And I've had this in the past, nothing to do with Apex or even trader related stuff. But if a company sends you a payment, especially a big payment, and you just have a basic PayPal account with your name, you haven't verified your ID, you haven't done anything, they might flag it as suspicious, and that's on PayPal side. So it's kind of up to you to do that. Just make sure your PayPal account is, like they say here, verify your PayPal account, have a bank card or and or bank account attached to it. Make sure you have your tax ID in there. So when you receive, a big payment from Apex, PayPal doesn't flag it as suspicious because, your account's fully verified. So payments are requested between the 20th and 25th. So payments or requests after the 25th might be denied till the following month. So it's fairly simple, guys. You open your calendar on your phone, you set a reminder or your to-do list for the 20th saying, hey, make sure you put in your request with Apex. It's fairly simple. Send a help desk, ticket. Tell them you want to put in a payout request, how much you want to withdraw, what method you want, and what the details of that are. So, hey, as example, I would like to withdraw $5,000. I would like to receive it through PayPal, and here's my PayPal email address. Thank you very much. And you submit your ticket, and that's as simple as it is. It takes you a minute of your time. But you have to do that between 20th, 25th, so that they have time to get all people's withdrawal requests ready, and then boom, they just bulk send them out on the last day of the month. This is where people start to get confused. I hope you're all with me so far because I think that's pretty straightforward. So your first payout, you have to have a total of 25 trading days before you make a request. So you can check in Rhythmic or you can look at your calendar and see how many days you have traded. So for example, like using examples, I passed October 10th, 2021. So I wouldn't have been eligible to do a withdrawal at the end of October because there's not 25 trading days between the 10th, or I think I technically got my account on the 11th or 12th. There wasn't enough trading days. So the first time I would be eligible for a withdrawal was the end of November, which I was, and I was able to withdraw. Some people, you might ask, why is this? Why do they have it that way? They don't want to encourage people to hit and run, or even just YOLO it and try to swing for the fences right out of the gate. Going into your funded account, I can speak from talking to a lot of traders and as someone who has blown a funded account or two in my early days as well. You get that funded account, you're pretty excited, time to trade in the big leagues for real money, and next thing you know, you're taking stupid trades and you blow your account. So knowing that you have to wait at least 25 days helps slow some people down. Might not slow everybody down, but it helps people go, you know what, I'm going to have to trade 25 days anyways, let's be patient here. It just kind of helps people keep their accounts and is part of what I referenced before. Apex is really looking to build long-term relationships with its traders. This is just like one subtle way I would say that is done. So basically count on whatever month you pass in. You're not going to be able to withdraw that month. You will probably be able to withdraw the next month, unless you pass on the 31st, then there might not technically be 25 trading days till the end of the next month. So your second request and all subsequent payouts, you need 10 trading days. I don't think this is a big deal. I trade every day. Most traders I know trade every single day. Occasionally I hear a story of somebody, they work a full-time job, they travel a lot, they're not able to trade every day. But I feel like most people, if they don't already trade every single day, they could at least find a way to log in and do a trade. Seriously, you would just have to log in and get a quick trade in. So I don't really consider this a prohibitive thing. I would say this in some ways, again, you might be asking, well, why is this? Why even have it? The 10 days, again, encourages people, they want relationships with traders, people who are going to be trading and funding. They're trying to build long-term relationships. That's what I kind of always bring it back to. First through third payments, on to the next point. Have a minimum payout of $1,000 with a minimum account balance threshold after payment. We'll get to those because it depends on the account size. There's also a max payout for your first through third payouts. So break out your virtual calendar in your mind. Let's just use me as an example. I passed, October 10th. I was funded, let's just say October 12th. My first withdrawal was at the end of November. So that was withdrawal number 1. And I'll show you the limits in a second. We'll actually just use my account as a good example for all of these. Because down below it kind of breaks out every single account size and what the limits are. So my first payout was November 30th. So my second payout would have been December 31st. My third payout was January 31st. So minimum $1,000 withdrawal, which I personally don't think is a big deal, but some people, especially if you're maybe trading, micros, you're trading the 25K account, maybe you're just looking to make, $500 a month. Well, you're going to have to get your balance up to 1,000 in order to do the withdrawal. Remember, they're giving you free withdrawals. There's a cost to that. For them to send a wire, it costs probably $35 domestically. So they don't want a bunch of people putting in requests for, $50 withdrawal, $100 withdrawal, etc. And I would say most firms have some type of minimum withdrawal amount. We'll We'll get to the max payout amounts for the first through third in a second once we get down to the account sizes. I don't want to jump around too much, but just kind of earmark this for we will get to it. So once you get past that third payment and onto your fourth payment, remember payouts are only once a month. So for me, in my example, that would have been the end of February 2022. As long as the minimum balance threshold is there, there's no maximum payout. So at that point, you can withdraw as much as you want. Again, as long as you keep your minimum balance threshold, we will look at that number in a second. So you're no longer capped on your withdrawal amounts. Bringing it back to that long-term kind of commitment to traders, etc. I think the rationale is like, if you can make it to month 4 and not screw things up, to put it bluntly, you're probably got your head screwed on straight. So they're like, okay, floodgates are open, withdraw as much of your money as you want to. As well, there comes a point, I think there was a nice balance of giving traders access to money, but also keeping them in check a little bit. You do that for a few months, kind of get people in the right habits. By month 4, great, you're in the good habit zone. Now you can withdraw as much of your profit as you care to. That is how I see it, at least. I think it is a completely rational sort of methodology to the payouts. I'll also just add one other thing. I really think, so a lot of times I talk to traders and they're very much looking for the quick solution of their problems. They heard about these funded trader programs. They are like low on money. They need money for whatever it might be. They're like, this is a quick way for me to make money. And then they get to this and they're disappointed. They're like, oh man, I got to wait till the 4th month before I can withdraw like all my money. Like, screw this. Well, you're not really cut for trading, to put it bluntly. If you're looking to build a lifelong career as a futures trader, you need to be thinking more than 3 or 4 months out. So if you're looking for the big hit in month 1, futures trading, I'm going to say probably isn't for you to start with. So I have no issues with their kind of payout structure on that. Moving on, guys. I know this is a lot of information. It's kind of dry, but that's why there's timestamps down below. You're paid as an individual contractor. This is fairly standard with all the companies. So if you are in the United States, you're a U.S. citizen, you have to submit a W-9. And then as long as that's on file, they will send you your payments and they will send you a 1099 for tax season. So that's all U.S. tax based. So if you're not a United States citizen, like myself, example, in Canada, what you fill out is called a W-8 Ben for your first payout. So I did that. Basically, anyone who works as a contractor, now this isn't trading related, this is just anything related. Long before I was a trader, living in Canada, I worked for several US companies as a contractor. So I'm very familiar with this process long before trading. You fill out the W-8 Ben, you basically are filling out a form that they keep on file, meaning Apex in this example, that basically says, hey, Canadian futures trader, lives in Canada, he's not a U.S. citizen, therefore we don't need to submit tax reports to him. He's responsible for paying taxes in his own country. End of story. So you won't receive, meaning you're not a U.S. citizen. So again, to use myself as an example, I'm not going to receive a report at year end. I'm not going to receive a 1099. I'm not going to receive a nice report that says, here's how much money you made CFT. No, it's up to me to keep track of all that information and report it on my taxes. As it says here, for any tax advice beyond that, call your accountant. That goes for me as well. Each person's situation is unique, but that's basically the punchline. So the W-8 Ben is really for them to keep on file so that if they were ever audited and they said, hey, you're sending this Canadian futures trader guy some money, what's the deal there? They can whip that form out and go, oh, Canadian futures trader lives in Canada, go figure. We aren't responsible for submitting a 1099 on his behalf because he is paying taxes diligently in his own country. So that kind of sums up the tax forms there. But punchline is you are paid as an individual contractor. So you're not an employee of the company, you're not a shareholder of the company, etc. You work for the company, trading capital, and you are receiving 90% for doing so. So this next section, I would say, honestly, this is a little bit out of order. They all of a sudden have an example, unrelated to taxes whatsoever. This has to do with this big long chart here. I don't want to read you through this because I'm going to use the 300K as an example just because that's what I've gone through. So we'll go through this example with the 300K. What they're saying here, just to summarize, is if you put in a request for a payout and then you keep trading away and you lose a bunch of money, so you no longer have the money in your account to withdraw, you're not going to get a payout, which makes sense. Here's the thing I already kind of mentioned. When you put in your payout request to the help desk between the 20th and 25th, tell them the amount, make sure your balance is above that amount, that you can withdraw that amount, confirm your number of trading days, whether you go into Rhythmic or Trader and check it, or you have a calendar that you put a little X on each day that you trade, or you're like me and you just trade every day, so you know that you're good. Submit the amount and how you want it and the information they need to process it. They will even mail you a check. How about that? Guys, let's scroll down. Now, this gets a little funky because the headers are up here, but I really want to show the 300K account. So just know that this first column is your payout request number. So it'll be first, second, third, and then fourth. Days required. I think it'll be self-explanatory once we get down here. Required minimum balance to do a withdrawal. That'll be the third column. Minimum payout, maximum payout. Let's go down to the 300K account, but here's the 300K account. So our first payout, which for me was the November 30th payout after 25 days when trades were placed. So I got my account mid-October. Plenty of trading days between mid-October and the near end of November when I put in my request. If you remember, this was the minimum balance you need to have. So 300K account, so you need to have at least 307,500, which this number may sound familiar. That is the actual trailing drawdown. And I'll maybe circle back to that in a second, but 7,500 is the trailing drawdown amount. So basically what they want you to do is get to the point where your trailing drawdown is kind of maxed out. So your trailing drawdown will be at 300,000 at this point. It won't go any higher. At this point, you could lose $7,499 and still be fine. But they obviously don't want you to do that. Again, what have I said before? They're looking at building long-term relationships. So they're saying, hey, at least keep a buffer of 7,500 in there. At that point, on your first withdrawal, you can withdraw a minimum of 1,000 or a maximum of 3,500. Remember, you get 100% of your first 10K, so you would get this full amount if you had this amount. So you would need 311,000 in order to withdraw this amount. I am proud to say I did have enough to cover that, and I withdrew the full amount at the end of November. End of December, end of January, in my case, were the second and third. So this next column, it says 1 times per month with 10 days where trades were placed. I think they're just saying, they're making it clear that you need 10 days of trades in each month, like not between the two, you need 10. It's like every single month you need to have at least 10 trading days. There's anywhere from 20 to like 23 trading days a month typically. Should not be a problem. So as long as you trade those 10 days, you will be able to do your next withdrawal request. You will see here the minimum balance stops. So as long as you keep your minimum balance at this amount, you are good. Like I said, your trailing drawdown stops at 300K. This is your minimum withdrawal balance. You can go below this amount in your account. So let's just use an example. End of November, I withdraw 3,500. Let's say that's the most I had to withdraw, and I'm right back to this balance. And I kick off December with a horrible trade, and I'm down to 305,000. That's fine. I'm still alive. I haven't blown a rule. The minimum I can get to is back down to 300K. It's just I wouldn't be able to do a withdrawal at that dollar amount. I would need to get it back up and above this amount. Again, fairly standard, honestly. The companies have kind of a minimum balance to maintain, and fairly standard that the trailing drawdown, once it hits that initial balance, stops there. So second month, third month, as long as your balance is above this, minimum withdraw 1,000, maximum withdraw 3,500. So it's the same numbers here. It's just you need less trading days, so you can withdraw basically every single month thereafter. Fourth month on, the wheels come off. Now you're really having fun. Again, trade 10 days. Keep your balance above the minimum. Minimum withdraw 1,000. Here's what we like to see, no maximum. So this is really where it is up to you. They've set the precedent. They've got you in some good habits. So it's up to you. Like, do you want to bring your balance all the way down to 307,500? You know, if you have a bad next month, you've only got so much drawdown left, and you might put yourself in a position where, let's just say it's a kind of a blah month. You know, you withdraw the most, your balance ends at 307,500. You have a few bad trades to kick the month off, you're down to like 304. You kind of let's swim around, tread water for the rest of the month. You end the month at 306. Well, now you have nothing to withdraw, and that's kind of a bummer, right? So it's up to you how you manage this. I personally can only speak from my own experience. I like to keep a little extra something on top of this, just if anything, build up that buffer. I know the money's there the subsequent month to use as buffer, and or if I did want to withdraw it. But that is everyone's personal choice, guys. I think that's it. That is basically how withdrawals work. The dollar amounts, I encourage you to come check out. So whatever account size you're interested in, come check out these numbers, because obviously these numbers differ based on account size, but it all works the same in concept. You can watch the videos as well, and I will leave you with just reiterating the fact that yes, I've been paid out every single month. I'm past that 4-month period now, so it is up to me to manage how much I want to withdraw, how to manage my account. It's been a fantastic experience working with Apex Trader Funding. They are my top rated trader valuation company for several reasons. If I had to sum it up, that they are looking to build long-term relationships with traders, and I encourage you to check them out. And so if you're seeing this video in March 2022, you can use the code CAN50. If you're seeing this in the future, be sure to check out my website. I have no idea if they'll continue this promotion beyond March, but you can always find the latest and greatest promotion here. Sometimes they run little contests. Come here, check out my website. It's under the exclusive promos tab as well. You can put in your email, and I only send out emails when there's a new deal, and usually only when there's like a new, like, fantastic deal. If it's just like some little quirky thing, I'm not necessarily going to send out an email. It's more like the new month, new deals type of emails I'll send out, or if one of the companies is having like a flash sale. Guys, I hope that helped clarify something for somebody. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Apex Trader Funding, and I'm also looking forward to seeing you in the next video.